This is the world I'm trying to build. Most of what I do here has a purpose. Farms, storage, machines. They make gathering resources fun. But that's not the point. We build farms so we can build places. Places you can walk through. Places you can sit in. Places that make the world feel worth being in. So for the last video of the year, I'm building a place to slow down. This is my world. Sinnoh's world. Guys, after another 2 weeks, I am finally back, and man, are you guys ready for the last video of the year? For those of you that are new here, my name is Sinnoh, and this is a series I post of me playing on my Minecraft survival world, and this is literally the only world I ever play on. I just build cool stuff, and I show you guys with a bit of a cinematic flair. That's about it. I got a coat shop over here. We moved to the snowy plains for a bit, and with snowy plains comes a lot of snow, Snow is cold, so, it makes the place a bit chilly. That's why I got my coat on. That's why I changed my skin, to get a proper coat. Credit to the skin artist in the description below. I just thought it would be nice to build like a little coat shop kind of thing. I saw this street lamp design thing somewhere on the Foundry. I saw it. I think I saw it on one of Nickable's videos. I really loved that. And hopefully he won't get mad that I stole it. So, but that's besides the point. So guys, you know when you're in a snowy area like this, in the snowy plain, the entire place just gets covered by snow every time when it starts, snowing. And it's pretty hard to build stuff when there's constantly snow just falling on top of things. Snow just falls on top of full blocks constantly. But then I realized snow does not fall on slabs. And then I was like, wow, what if I just make my paths out of slabs? I had this, conundrum of, okay, I want to do paths in the snowy plains area, but it would just get covered up by snow every time it snows. So then I thought, oh, this genius idea of building my paths out of slab. But then I had another problem. The pathway is always going to be super high, like a whole half block high, and I don't want that. But the fortunate thing about snow is you can layer snow up to 8 different layers, and I use that to smoothen the transition between the slabs and the snowy floor, so it looks more gradual and it looks more natural actually. So that's how I'm going to be doing the paths in the snowy area from now on. I almost forgot the most important thing, guys. Let me break down the build real quick, block for block. You already know we started at the bottom here with some barrels facing sideways. I just like the black line texture that goes up, so I just use that for the entire surrounding area of this building. And I try to make it a very cabin-y kind of feel. Is cabin-y even a word? I do not know if it is, but I just made it up right now. I added coat shop as a sign here. We got 2 banners here as like glowing windows from the distance, and there's lights behind it, so the light glows in the dark. Would you look at that? That is so cool. And you know, I like my door windows, my oak door windows. Haters will say there's no function. Bro, I'm trying to make stuff that look pretty, and it seems like the comments love it. So I'm gonna keep doing it. So the window over here, you can actually see through it. We got black windows, just black window panes. And then we got regular glass window panes at the back. So then it has this line effect, which looks very cool. We got a lot of signs here. And the walls are literally just a mix of stripped spruce, jungle, oak, birch, and I just covered it up with signs. You know, we're using all the block entities up in this build. As we go into the interior here, I still gotta set up the clothing areas here. It's just gonna be a bunch of armor stands standing on top of these slabs, I would say. And then we put some leather armor on all these armor stands. Then it looks like a proper clothing store. I'm also gonna put a villager in here. Then, you know, it's all vibey up in here. It's just gonna be vibes. And yeah, that's the build, guys. This is how it looks in the dark. Oh, perfect. In the previous video, I built this cliff to place my starter house on. Now I want to expand it a bit, so it blends more naturally into the environment, and so it can serve as a backdrop for today's build. So I have expanded this cliff a little bit, but I did it in a very subtle way. You know, it just blends a little bit more into the environment, so it's just not one huge blob of custom terrain, so it like gradually smoothens out. And it is definitely going to serve as a nice backdrop for today's build. I'm based in a winter desert right now, and when you're traveling through a place like this, you don't want another long stretch of nothing. You want somewhere warm, somewhere you can stop, rest for a bit. So I started thinking, if you were crossing a frozen wasteland, what would you actually want to find? A tavern? A bathhouse? Hot water? Warm light? A place for tired travelers to unwind before moving on. That's where this idea came from. A tavern and bathhouse combined into one stop. A small hub in the middle of nowhere. I took a lot of inspiration from the bathhouse and spirited away, and mixed it with my usual obsession with taverns. The only problem is, this is a big build, and if I want to get it done on time, I'm not doing it alone. So guys, we have finally finished the build. Look at how this looks. Let's just take it in from this angle over here. If we walk along this path here, you can see I used these like street lamps just to frame this building as you walk down this path, and I think it looks amazing. You know, it's not a Sinnoh build if I don't include some birds. I will always have some birds in my build, you know, if it fits. But yeah, I thought it fit because like it was like such an open sky over here. So I thought, hey man, let's just have some birds flying. You can see I used so many different techniques. I did the banner thing, I did the bookshelves for windows thing, I did the oak doors for windows, the spinning redstone lamp lighthouse thing. Imagine if there's a blizzard and, you know, this lighthouse would be like a beacon of hope, and then you find this tavern. As we walk closer here, you can see I named it the Steamy Springs Inn. I want it to look like steam is coming out on that side because it's like the bathhouse side of things, and then on this side would be the tavern area and the food and drinks area, which is quite nice. So yeah, so let's walk inside and take a look at this building I made. As you can see, look at this, the red carpet. I used some fan coral here on the sides. I can't remember what it's called, but these are waterlogged slabs. Coral can only keep its color when it's in water or like placed right next to water. So if you place coral outside of water where it's not touching any form of water, it will just turn gray. If we walk in here, look at this, guys. I just love this cozy atmosphere. And it's like somewhat like open but closed at the same time. I built a nice little courtyard in the middle, which is very nice. I still got to build the restaurant and tavern area, but at least the interior is done. You already know we got ourselves a saturation station. The first saturation station for this area. And over here, this is credit to all the people that helped out with the build. These are members on the Discord that volunteered to help out with the building. You know, since, you know, I put a lot of effort into planning the build and editing the videos and whatnot, and oftentimes I have a tight schedule, and then I think to myself, let me just ask if anybody wants to volunteer to help maybe. Thanks to these guys, they made it possible for me to finish this quite fast actually, so I can actually get the video out for you guys. So yeah, shout out to Salty, Andy, Mr. Fox, and Allowed Silenced for helping out with the build. As you can see over here, I used the same window technique I used at the coat shop. I put like glass panes, and then I put black glass panes in front of it. It feels like the outside is always dark, and it gives it a very cozy feeling. As we walk on to the side, there's just like the bathhouse and everything. All these compartments over here is there's like coal in there, so it's like sort of like heat used to heat up the water. That's why there's chimneys going out of each segment here. And yeah, this is just a nice little area. The main block palette I used for the walls is this like tan-ish gradient, which is stripped birch, stripped oak, stripped jungle wood, mushroom blocks, as well as packed mud blocks, mixed in with a little bit of mud bricks. I already showed you guys the block palette for the walls, but the trims in the corners I did stripped spruce, coupled with a lot of like spruce signs. For the roof, I used the regular gradient that I used for my starter base as well. But at the top part, I made it a little bit green because I wanted to add a little bit of color, because why not? And I had to include a little section with the Tudor trimming that I used with banners. This building symbolizes everything I've learned this year. I started out this year not being a good builder at all, and I ended up building this by the end of the year. So who knows what is in store for next year. I'm excited because I still think I am not like a good builder. There's a lot of people, a lot of builders, a lot of YouTubers out there that have been doing this longer than me. This is just my first year, so I'm really excited to see what I can do a few years from now as I continue on this YouTube journey. If you want to use any of these builds in your own world, or want the exact schematics from the series, you can get exclusive access on my Patreon. That includes schematics for my builds and a full world download if you want to explore everything yourself. Links in the description. Anyway, let's slow things down a bit. I'm gonna gather some wood and read through a few of your comments. Alright guys, so I'm gonna get back to chopping like I did in the previous episode and read through a few of your comments. First comment we got from Bear76 Hungry. What is your favorite Frank Ocean song? My favorite Frank Ocean song is from the Blonde album, track 15, Siegfried. Next comment we got from Haku. Yo, your Minecraft looks so cozy. Do you by any chance use any mods or texture pack? In the previous video, so many people commented and asked like what mods and what texture packs I use. And some people even still ask if I use shaders. Guys, does this look like shaders to you? It's not shaders. So the clouds you see up there, that's the Better Clouds mod. I don't know what is wrong with these new gens, but they call everything a mod. A mod changes the gameplay, guys, unless it's a performance mod. This entire game is still vanilla. Like, this is a vanilla series. What you guys are probably curious about is the animations and all that. That is a resource pack. And a resource pack only changes the visual aspect of the game. Doesn't change how things work, it just changes how things look. That's not a mod. That's a resource pack. I do have a Discord and I linked it in the description of this video. So there is a channel called Sinnoh Setup. All the mods and all the resource packs I use are in that channel, neatly organized for you guys to download. Next comment we got from The Darker Marin. I hope I said that right. Hi, I'm new here. Who is Mr. Fox and how they play together? Mr. Fox he's a bit of an OG subscriber of mine. We go way back to when I built Pine Rust Forest. He helped out with that. This is and always has been a single player world. There's a mod called Essentials that makes it so easy for you to join your friends' worlds on Java Edition. So I would recommend getting Essential mod. Next comment we got from Minicus. Sinnoh, will you finally build the Patreon village? Alright, I see. This guy has watched a lot of my episodes and he knows about the Patreon village. So, more than 5 years ago, when I was like in high school still, and I had like 20 subscribers, I mentioned that I was going to have a Patreon village. It's where I build a house for every Patreon member, and then over time it becomes this huge village. I still think that's a good idea. Every Patreon member that I get, I would want to build something just as a thank you. I'll start out over here in this area and build a few houses for my new Patreon members. I'll build houses here for them. Alright, we got the last comment from Stars Struck. Gemini Tay was at around the same following as you are now when she was invited to the Hermitcraft series. Would you ever want to join if discovered by them or any other similar SMP community? That's a very good question. I have been asked sometimes if I would ever want to join Hermitcraft. It's a tricky question for me because I don't know. If I ever get invited to Hermitcraft, I would be so flattered and I would just be happy to be there, to be honest. I also thought of it. Hermitcraft isn't just a SMP. It is a business and it's a brand. You gotta, acknowledge their terms and their rules for their Hermitcraft brand. So there's a lot of other stuff that people don't know of that you gotta stick to as a creator while being part of Hermitcraft. Like, you gotta stay family friendly, you can't be political and all that, and there's a lot of restrictions on you as a creator. That's not a bad thing. At the end of the day, that's just business, and it feels a bit restricting to me, and I feel like I might be putting a ceiling on top of myself. Minecraft is my bread and butter. I know it has a ceiling. And yes, it's so cool that I'm known for all these cool builds and all these stuff, but I'm thinking a lot bigger than Minecraft. I want to just be known for being Sinnoh instead of just being a Minecraft YouTuber. I want to be a bit more than that. In terms of like expanding out to other things, I went down like a serious like streaming rabbit hole. With that being said, yeah, I do have a Twitch, guys, and I stream sometimes on it, so check it out in the description or my channel bio. See it less of a place where I stream Minecraft, see it more as a place where you can hang out with me and, just chat with me while I do something. I'm probably going to be streaming a little bit on there. For those of you that stuck around until this part of the video, I just would like to let you know there's a little bit of an Easter egg. I don't know how successful this will be, but it's worth a shot, I would say. So there's this thing called Buy Me a Coffee. It's this website where you can donate to your favorite creators and that. I linked my Buy Me a Coffee in the description. Yeah, the website is literally called Buy Me a Coffee. Everybody that donates will be included on this wall. That means you will be part of this world. So everybody that donates before the next video will be featured on this wall. It's been a long year. A busy one. I learned a lot, and I learned it fast. And if I'm being honest, I'm tired. But it's a good kind of tired. Because there's a lot more I want to build. A lot more ideas, a lot more plans for next year. So if you've been here for any part of this, thanks for sticking around. I'll see you next year. For now, I'm going to sit down and do absolutely nothing. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.